because, hey, how are you?
Yeah, yourself?
You gotta love a guy who, even a few weeks after the season ended, is still wearing cubby blue.
Hey, at least they let me down in April.
Wait till next year.
Hey, touche, good point.
The White Sox fans. Oh, yeah.
We knew early. You and I knew early. Welcome. The reason this race is close, two reasons, and two reasons only. Actually, three. Here are the two, though. Because I am literally trying to meet as many voters as I can. And we do 1 million events a day. It's a little bit of an exaggeration. I'm running against a woman, a candidate, who does the exact opposite. You can't find Tammy Duckworth. She's a machine. The only way you can tell Tammy Duckworth how you feel about a certain issue is if you talk to her camera. Because that's Tammy Duckworth's camera right there. She films every word Joe Walsh says. What an odd campaign. You got this guy named Walsh who's out there in front of people all the time, and then you got Tammy Duckworth who's always filming Joe Walsh. Boy, if most voters realize that, and I think they're starting to, they're not going to like that. So I think that's really setting home. The second reason this race is close is because Tammy Duckworth believes, she said it 3 weeks ago and she's repeated it since, hang on to yourself, that we are better off now than we were 4 years ago. I can't fathom that. When she said that, I couldn't believe it. I jumped. But then it clicked with me. She doesn't get out at all. If she spent time in Roselle, and Schaumburg, and Elk Grove, and Addison, and Wooddale, and Bloomingdale, and Elgin, and Carpentersville, and she talked to people, she'd understand that we're hurting, we're struggling. My brother's not working, my sister lost her house. Illinois just took the lead in the country in foreclosures. The value of our homes is through the basement. We're paying twice what we paid 4 years ago for a gallon of gas. The real unemployment rate in this country is about 15 to 19%. If Tammy got out, she'd know that. But she doesn't get out. Final reason this race is close is because we have an army of volunteers, young, middle-aged, and older, who have been walking and knocking and calling for months. Tammy doesn't have that. Tammy's got a lot of money, and you've probably already seen them. Going to be a lot of TV commercials, trying to do what Obama's doing to Mitt Romney. Obama's trying to make Romney out to be this scary character. Tammy's going to do the same thing about Joe Walsh. And I just think, as I close, I just think this year it's not going to work. This year we're scared, we're fed up, and we know we can do better. So, I'm going to stop there. You know our rules. We have no rules. Okay. Except, hold on, you're going to get the first question, because I love that cap. The only rule is respect everybody. You can ask me about anything. I'm going to go here first, then there. Lead the way.
Okay, I've got to say that the Republican Party, and I am a Republican, has been a total embarrassment to me this year. It's been abominable.
Tell me why.
The way the candidates got out there and badmouthed each other. The Democrats didn't need any food for fodder. The Republicans handed it to them.
Well, let me ask you a question.
People don't respect that.
You're talking about sort of the presidential primary? How they all went after each other?
That's disgusting.
How you feeling now?
It's immature. I mean, I feel I have no choice. I'm voting for the lesser of the two evils. I'm not all that happy with Romney, but I couldn't stand Obama, so I don't have a choice in voting. I have to vote, but I'm not happy about it. And I think it's time that these people grew up and stopped acting like little children.
I hear you. I hear you. It wasn't exactly a real pleasant primary to watch and listen to. But I tell you, I get more excited about Mitt Romney every day. And here's why. He's a businessman. I want somebody who knows what they're doing in the White House. And even if he doesn't excite the heck out of you, I think we all know the guy in the White House right now is in over his head and just doesn't know what he's doing. So that motivation should excite you.
But we need somebody who's going to start worrying about the seniors. Instead of taking away everything from us, stop to think about what we need as we get older.
Well, think about this. You make a great point. So here's what we know. Every Republican and Democrat knows that Medicare has got 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 years left. and then it's gone. I want you to really understand what I just said. Every Republican and Democrat in Washington knows that if we don't touch Medicare, just leave it alone, it's going to disappear. 4 to 9 years. So Obama knows that and doesn't say anything about it. Duckworth knows that, but she's too busy trying to scare seniors. The Republicans, and you may not like their plan, there's stuff I don't like in their plan, but the Republicans are the only ones that said, here's a plan to try to save Medicare for the next generation. And even the Republicans said, if you're 55 or older, nothing changes. Because even Republicans were afraid of touching Medicare. So if you're 55 or older, nothing changes. What I'm worried about is my kids, 25, 21, and 18, they'll read about Medicare and Social Security like we read about the dinosaurs, unless we fix it. We all have to do that. We have 10,000 people retiring every day in this country, and we're living longer. We better figure out how to fix these programs. And shame on the Democrats this year.
Taking $565 million out of the Social Security, Medicare, to put into his Obamacare.
Boop, boop. Hike it up. It's now $716 billion.
I wouldn't argue.
So right now, to pay for Obamacare, President Obama is taking $716 billion out of Medicare to pay for Obamacare.
Right. And Obamacare hasn't even started yet.
About $415 billion of that are cuts in reimbursements to hospitals, docs, and health clinics.
No.
How do you think those hospitals, docs, and health clinics are going to react to that? There's already announcements that hospitals are going to fold up, doctors are going to leave the profession. And then there's this sneaky little $187 billion that President Obama put in there, which he's going to take out of Medicare Advantage. It was supposed to kick in this month. But what's wrong with this month? It's the month before an election.
Oh, yeah.
So he delayed it. Look, guys, the aim of Obamacare is to put everybody on Medicaid and to say goodbye to Medicare and initially Medicare Advantage.
Well, everybody is on Medicaid. All the people that never paid into anything that had to do with this country is getting Medicaid. I worked at the hospital and I saw it. And it wasn't fair.
And what are doctors doing with Medicaid patients now?
They don't want them.
They don't want them.
And they're Medicare patients too. There's a lot of doctors that are taking Medicare.
Absolutely. So,
and it's going to be worse.
So it's going to be worse. So the answer is put more people on Medicaid. Have more people that doctors won't take.
That's right.
This is craziness. This is craziness. So what we need to do is repeal Obamacare and have Republicans and Democrats sit down and figure out 2 or 3 or 4 reforms that we can both agree on. But this thing called Obamacare
It's got to blow up.
is going to blow up and ruin everything. We can't let that happen. I promised you.
Okay. A couple of things I've got to say. Was first of all something that President Ronald Reagan said in one of his speeches many years ago. He said, businesses don't pay taxes, people do.
What did he mean by that?
Anytime you tax a business, the business has to raise the price of products or services that they sell or cut their expenses by laying people off. Okay, that's number one. Number two, we talk about the Social Security. I work in an area of Chicago, and it happens to be one of your constituents' area. What's her name? That Polish lady? I can say Polak because I'm a Polak. But what's her name? She's
Congresswoman Schakowsky.
Right, Schakowsky's area. And I won't mention the company that I work for, but I sell cars there. Anyhow, I get a lot of people that come in there, all right, that are here, some of them illegally. They come in with with their Social Security number, beginning with a 9. They can't qualify, but they can file Social Security, they can file taxes, so they get refunds on their earned income tax credits and all those things, so that a single parent who has 2 children making 25 grand can make $8,000 refund on their taxes, all right? And the other thing is that you got the 2 people, the husband and wife live together, they're not married, okay, but they still live as a family, and one is making a living and doing a job, the other one is just making a fair amount so that they get all those benefits. This has to be cut. And you know, I worked for H&R.
Well, you're on a roll.
I worked for H&R Block.
Always.
And with H&R Block, I seen how the taxes work. And I recommend anyone that is here to take the H&R Block tax form and work for H&R Block for the first 2 weeks. One of the things that I was surprised with H&R Block, the 2 busiest weeks for H&R Block is from the 23rd of January to the 10th of February. And the reason why, which I, prior to that, because I always pay taxes, I would always think it would be January or February 1st or April 1st to the 15th is the 2 busiest weeks because I pay taxes. No, it's there because of all the people in there getting their handouts and their freebies. And there's people that are coming here that have, with Social Security, getting income as people from Mongolia and also from Nepal as refugees and getting Social Security. They're getting more money than the people who have paid Social Security for 4 years.
So let me stop you. You're driving me crazy. Let me stop you.
These are facts. I mean, I see this with people that figure out when I'm doing their thing for buying a car.
I'm with you. So let's be clear. One of the things I find so depressing about the way President Obama is running for re-election is that he's pitting Americans against each other.
Yes.
And so he's going after, he wants to tax whoever the rich is, the billionaires and the billionaires. When these are men and women who run businesses and hire people. And what he doesn't realize, and what a lot of people don't realize, is if you're going to tax the guy or the gal who runs a company or owns a company, that's going to come out of something. And if you're going to keep going after those folks who make and create jobs, eventually it's going to impact everybody who works for him and her. All you got to do is look at Illinois. Yes. We've made Illinois probably the worst state in this country to do business. So what do businesses do? They move out. They move. And so,
Jimmy John's moved out.
So the point was we wanted to go after that guy who runs the business, but once he relocates, it impacts everybody. So stop that. Second point, so I agree with you on the first. Second one, you're right. Look, guys, we're living with the government right now. You talk about loophole after loophole in any kind of aid you want to get. Virtually every program of any assistance that the government provides is abused. And eligibility grows. Look at food stamps, look at disability, look at unemployment insurance for 2 years. I mean, it's like we've got this thing called government and we just keep growing it, taking care of more and more people, hold on, and now we sit here flat broke. It's not right, we're giving people the wrong incentives. You know, there used to be a day, what was fair? What was fair was you're out there humping 1, 2, 3 jobs to try to keep that house. And people worked harder and they looked after themselves. We're now rewarding different behavior. That's not right. But we as a country got to get back to that quickly.
And Social Security is not an entitlement. We've all paid into Social Security. And they should take that off the entitlement bullshit and just talk about it as we paid into it. There's a lot of people that are collecting Social Security that came here from other countries, illegally and legally, that are collecting Social Security. And I see that, and there's a lot of people that are collecting Social Security disability that when they come in and look for cars, to buy a car and fill out the credit app, they got Social Security income as a disability, and they look pretty healthy to me.
This is, you are so right. This, again, this is what this country has to wrestle with, this election. Again, none of this needs to be personal, and it's all pretty straight. President Obama, Tammy Duckworth, most of that party, they literally do believe in this bigger government to take care of everybody, and they don't think about things like that. Right. What we're doing right now is you got a bunch of us, other folks in Washington, who are trying to wrestle us back to a good, limited government that takes care of those truly folks who need help. But it's going to take us a while to get back. That's why this election is so important. Yes, ma'am.
If people work, they pay. They pay into Medicare and they pay into Social Security. When people don't work, there is no money coming in. And a lot of people are not working.
No, you're right. So that's a big problem. There is fraud and abuse in Medicare, and that's a big problem. But again, I know that we're not supposed to put